Hi, Denise Horge from Denise Horge Speaks, and I want to come on today and talk to you a little bit about failure. So in high school, I ran track and I was a sprinter. So I primarily ran 100, 200, 4x1, 4x2 relays. Well, I show up to one of my track meets, and my coach at the time let me know that I was going to be running a 400 that day. So that's one loop around the track. I said, absolutely not. No, sir, I am not. And he said, oh, yes, you are. And I did. Begrudgingly, but I did. And for me, the biggest piece about running that 400 on the spot was not him not telling me about it. Not that I didn't think that I could do it, but that I would fail. Because in my eyes, I thought that failing meant coming in last. So I didn't come in last. I came in second to last. But the gag is that even if I would have came in last, that would not have been a failure. But in the teenage mind that you have back in those days, that's what you believe. When in actuality, the winner was everyone who finished the race was a winner. And as adults, we still kind of hold that mentality of the teenage life that failure can only look black and white. It's just one thing or the other. And that is just not the case. So as we think about failure, sometimes we associate failure as not doing something first, and that's simply not true. There's even a saying that says, slow and steady wins the race. So I wanted to come on and talk to you about three things that failure is not. So within my 3 points, I'm going to be using a lot of double negatives, but I'm sure you'll still capture the point. So the first one, failure is not trying something, and that's something not succeeding. Let's take that in, right? So the wins in a situation like that is that you have the courage to do it in the first place. Also, the lessons learned from why that didn't succeed, things that you would have done differently, partnerships that you might have engaged with differently. These are all lessons learned that we take away to our next venture, right? And then the last win in a situation like this is your commitment to yourself for doing something that you wanted to do in the first place, that was on your bucket list, that you had been kind of eyeing, something that you always wanted to do whenever things kind of lined up in their place. So it's not a win to try something and it's not a failure to try something and it not succeed. There are several wins and lessons learned that can be taken away from a situation like this. So if this is you, if you have tried something and it hasn't yet succeeded, I want you to pause this video. I want you to go to the closest mirror. I want you to look at yourself and say, I am a baddie. Okay? Pause. And then come back. So the next two definitions of what a failure is not. Number two, failure is not needed, or failure is needed to truly appreciate success. So if you don't know what it feels like to have missed the mark or have not had the opportunity to turn life lessons into triumph, then you probably won't be able to fully bask in what it feels like to be successful or to have a success. Success is not a given. It's just not something that's handed outright. It is something that is earned, oftentimes with blood, sweat, and tears. So if you're currently in a place where you are waiting for your success story, and maybe there are others by you, around you, your peers that are speaking to their success story, hold on, because your time is coming and the world needs to hear your testimony. All right? So hold on. Third definition of what a failure is not. A failure is not final. Luckily, failures are temporary. Think back into college where you may have received a failing grade in a course. You have the opportunity to retake that class. So granted, you might have the initial grade or the initial try for that grade on your transcript, but your the replacement grade where you do better is also on there. And I think of that replacement grade or, withdrawal that might be on your transcript as like a scar on your arm or on your leg, which is a symbol of what was once a wound that has now healed. That's a message, because failures are temporary. They might have been a wound, they heal, they become a scar, and we have a lesson learned. We have takeaways. We have things that we know that we'll do differently so that we don't keep getting that same wound, right? Just like we don't keep having those same failures. We turn the lessons learned into a success. I hope you caught that. Adulting is 100% difficult, absolutely, hands down, but there are guides along the way that make it easier for us. So if you're worried about failing as it relates to becoming an entrepreneur, especially to pursue your entrepreneurial passion, allow me to be your guide. I have crafted my signature program that literally walks you through step by step, and it is designed for success. So I want you to think about what I talked about, all the different things that failures are not. And if you are ready to have a discussion about what success could look like for you in your entrepreneurial passion, I want you to schedule a discovery call so we can have a discussion to see if my program is a good fit for you. So with that, I want to close out today's topic on what failure is not. And remember, we should all be winning.